Nearly 1,000 people are moving to Florida every single day, and I actually was one of them a few years ago. And although I absolutely love living in Tampa Bay, there are a few things that I wish I knew before moving here that can hopefully save you some headache. By the way, I'm Shae Green with Impact Realty Tampa Bay. If you know anyone that has any Tampa Bay real estate questions, go ahead and send them my way. You can give me a call, text, or shoot me an email. Okay, so my husband Josh and I moved to Tampa Bay a few years ago, and we had actually never been here before. We'd never even set foot in the state of Florida, so we were kind of coming in blindly, and luckily it all worked out great, but I wish I kind of knew a few more things as far as what to expect when moving here, so that's what I'm going to share in this video. So the first thing is I wish I better understood the commuting times and traffic. So depending on what kind of city you're moving from, the traffic in Tampa could seem worse or it could seem better than what you're used to. For me though, we were actually coming from Salt Lake City, Utah, where the traffic is actually worse than Tampa, in my opinion, even though it's a much smaller city. But the biggest thing for me was just figuring out commuting times and the way that the roads work in Tampa. There's so many waterways and there's not a ton of super direct routes depending on where you're going. So something that's like 5 miles away could take like 20 minutes or even longer to get to sometimes of the day. So it's super important ahead of time that you understand the actual commute time and how long it's going to take when you're going from one place to another. So when you're planning on where you're gonna live and where you need to commute to, just type in addresses of general areas that you know you're going to be driving in a lot, and do it at different times of the day just so you understand and have an idea of how long it actually takes to get places. Okay, the second thing I wish I knew before moving here is I wish I understood the pros and cons of living in each area in Tampa Bay. So Tampa Bay is quite large. It covers several counties and there are so many different areas and pros and cons to each area. So it can be good to talk to someone or do your research on the internet to better understand the different suburbs and different areas of Tampa so you have a good idea of what to expect based on where you're gonna live here. Okay, the third thing I wish I knew before moving here is I wish I knew about no-see-ums, which if you've been to Florida before, you're probably familiar with the term no-see-um, but they're basically like these biting gnats that you can't really see, so you have no idea that they're there, and they'll bite you, and the bites are similar to a mosquito bite, but much itchier and super annoying. I had no idea what they were before coming to Tampa, and a couple times I've been bitten really bad by no-see-ums just because I wasn't prepared. I didn't have bug spray. So depending on what time of year it is, I recommend just always like carrying bug spray in your car, or I use a bug spray lotion that I actually put on every day in the summer, especially if I know I'm gonna be by the water, just in case there are no-see-ums so that you can avoid all the pain of having a ton of no-see-um bites. Okay, the fourth thing that I wish I knew before moving here is I wish I better understood hurricanes. I was really nervous about hurricanes before moving to Florida, and I think now that I've been here for several years, we've been through Hurricane Ian, Hurricane Idalia, and fortunately in Tampa Bay we didn't get a direct hit, so we saw more minor impacts of those storms. But it's super important to be prepared ahead of time when it comes to hurricanes and just understand basic hurricane preparedness, you know, having extra water on hand, having a propane grill, and just having a plan in place for evacuations, things like that. So that's important to know. And then especially when you're planning on a place to live and buying a home here, it's important to talk with someone who knows Florida really well and can explain like flood zones and what flood insurance is required. And then also it's important to know what evacuation zone you live in. So for instance, right now I'm pretty close to the water. I'm a little over a mile away and we're in an evacuation zone C. And we actually haven't had a mandatory evacuation since I've lived here, even though we've obviously had big storms come pretty close by. So it's just important to know if you're in evacuation zone A or B, most likely you will be under mandatory evacuation orders. So just be prepared, have a plan in place, and obviously just talk to someone who has been through it before. Okay, the last thing that I wish I knew before moving here is actually a super positive thing. So I wish I knew how great the lifestyle was here and just how many fun things there are to do here. And if I had known this, I think I would have moved here sooner. I think Tampa Bay has been a perfect fit for my husband and I. We love going to the beach, we love kayaking, we love exploring. There's big city vibes here, and there's also more chill, laid back beach town vibes here too. So I think there's something for everyone. And yeah, I just wish I knew more about it and I would have come here as soon as possible. So I hope some of these things can help prepare you ahead of time before moving to Tampa Bay. And of course, if you have any questions about anything Tampa Bay related, please feel free to reach out. Thanks for watching. See ya.